Hello, I'm going to share with you a story today called Pining Away, a Gravity Falls story. Adapted by Tracy West. Part 1. Chapter 1. "Oh no, Mabel! I don't feel so good," Dipper said, groaning. He made a retching sound and shot a spray of pink party string at his twin sister's face. "Ugh!" Mabel cried. Then she grabbed her stomach. "Grunkle Stan, what did you feed us?" She picked up a can of purple party string and aimed it at her brother, spraying him with it. They both started cracking up. Their friend Wendy walked up to them. Guys, something terrible happened." Worried Dipper Mabel stopped laughing for a second. Then Wendy pretended to barf green party string all over them. "Shh! Comedy gold!" Mabel exclaimed, tossing confetti into the air. It landed on Stan's head as he walked by. Stan was not amused. All right. Party supplies are now off limits," he said, snatching the party string and confetti from them. Dipper and Mabel couldn't help being in a good mood. They were looking forward to the party their great Uncle Stan would be holding at his mystery shack. At the start of summer, Dipper and Mabel had come to Oregon to stay with their great uncle at his shack. Nestled deep in the woods, the dusty shack was filled with strange and unusual objects, including dinosaur skulls, ancient carvings, and jars of what looked like eyeballs in liquid. The unusual items brought in tourists, and Stan hoped they dropped all their money in the souvenir shop on the way out. Helping out at the shack was interesting, but so far they hadn't met too many new friends, except Wendy and Seuss, who worked at the shack, and Old Man McGucket, who was certifiably insane. So when Grunkle Stan announced that he was having a party, inviting all of the kids in Gravity Falls, Dipper and Mabel were excited. They spent the afternoon helping spruce up the place for the party. Wendy had blown up some balloons, and Seuss hung streamers across the room. "Mr. Pines, whose birthday is it again?" Seuss asked Stan. "Nobody's," Stan replied. "I thought this party might be a good way to get kids to spend money at the shack." He proudly unrolled an old pinned the tail on the donkey poster. "Nice," Seuss said. "The young people in this town want fun. I'll smother 'em with fun," said Stan. Seuss might have been impressed, but Dipper knew that his Grunkle Stan was a little, out of touch. "Maybe comments like that are why kids don't come to the Mystery Shack," Dipper said, pouring a cup of Diet Pit Cola for Mabel. Hey, Stan said, grabbing the soda bottle from him. "How about you make yourself useful and copy these flyers?" He handed Dipper a clipboard with flyers on it that read, "Party at the Mystery Shack. Kids and teenagers welcome. Free? ? "Oh boy," said Mabel, "a trip to the copier store." Seuss popped up behind her. "Calendars, mugs, t-shirts, and more. They got it all at the copier store," he said in a sing-song voice. "That's not their slogan. I just really feel that way about the copier store." "Save the trouble," Stan said. "You know that old copier in my office. I finally fixed that old girl up. Good as new." So they headed off to the shack's dank and dusty storage room. They pulled the cover off the machine, and moths fluttered out. Mabel gasped, "Butterflies!" The copier looked like a hunk of junk. It was covered in dust, dented all over, and held together with duct tape. "Does it even work?" Dipper asked. He lifted the lid, leaned on the glass so he could press the button on the control panel. The copier turned on. The glass lit up with a green glow. The machine whirred and scanned Dipper's arm. Poof! The machine sparked and clouds of black smoke poured out. When the smoke cleared, a piece of paper slid out onto the tray. showing a clear image of Dipper's arm. "Success!" Mabel said, picking up the paper. Suddenly, the paper moved in Mabel's hand. Startled, she dropped it. It fell to the floor, and the copy of Dipper's arm began to change. First, color crept into the black and white image. Then the picture transformed into a real-life 3D arm, and it started to rise from the paper. "Ah!" Dipper and Mabel screamed. The arm lifted itself straight in the air and slammed down onto the floor, dragging itself closer and closer to a terrified Dipper and Mabel. "Stay back!" Dipper yelled. Then he grabbed Mabel's soda and tossed it at the arm. The arm began to bubble and sizzle, then completely disintegrated. Dipper turned to his sister. "Oh my gosh, Mabel, I think this copier can copy human beings. Do you realize what this means?" Mabel asked. "Blah!" Then she zapped him in the face with purple party string. Shh! Chapter 2. Dipper and Mabel didn't bother to tell Grunkle Stan about the creepy copier they had encountered. They had encountered lots of strange things there in the woods on the Pacific Northwest, but Stan said he didn't believe any of the stories. Sure, he ran a mystery shack filled with mystical items, but those were just for the gullible tourist. So Dipper and Mabel finished copying all the flyers and took them back to Stan in the party room. Everything looked party ready, from the string of lights and balloons to the purple metallic star ornaments. The dance floor was polished to perfection and ready for dancing. Grunkle Stan gathered his party team around him: Dipper, Mabel, Soos, and Wendy. "Okay, party people, and Dipper," he said. Dipper frowned. "Let's talk business. Soos, you'll work for free. And you begged, I'm letting you be the DJ." "You won't regret it, Mr. Pines," Soos said. "I got this book to teach me how to DJ right." Soos held up the book, How to DJ Right by DJ Scratch Tracks. "Not encouraging," Stan said. "Wendy, you and Mabel are by the ticket stand." "What?" Mabel cried. "But Grunkle Stan, this party is my chance to make new friends." "I can work with Wendy," Dipper said quickly. His heart began to beat a little faster as he said it. He had a crush on Wendy ever since he first saw her. He knew it was probably hopeless. She was 15, and he wasn't even a teenager yet. She was taller than him and always seemed to have a boyfriend, but still, he kept on pining anyways. "You do realize, if you do, you gotta commit to staying at that ticket stand with Wendy," Stan said firmly. "No getting out of it. Just the two of you, alone, all night." Dipper glanced at Wendy. She was spray painting a funny face on Sue's belly. He wiggled and made the face move. Wendy and Mabel cracked up. Dipper sighed. Wendy was the girl of his dreams. "I promise," he told Stan. Dipper didn't have much time. He ran up to the room he and Mabel shared in the attic of the Mystery Shack. First, he needed a plan. Then, he needed to make himself look good for Wendy. He was gargling with mouthwash when Mabel walked up and startled him. "Ah, what?" he asked. Mabel grinned and started talking in a goofy guy voice. Can I work the counter with you, Wendy? Let's kiss." She started making kissy noises. Yeah, laugh all you want," Dipper said, straightening his tie in the mirror. "But I have devised a plan to make sure my night with Wendy goes perfect." "Plan? You're not making one of those overcomplicated list things, are you?" Mabel asked. "It's not overcomplicated," Dipper insisted. He took the list from his pocket, unfolded it, and unfolded it, and unfolded it again. It was so long, it touched the floor. Step 6. Getting to know each other with playful banter. Banter is like talking, but smarter. That sounds like a dumb idea for poop heads, Mabel said. See, this isn't banter, said Dipper, gesturing from himself to Mabel. This is what I want to avoid with Wendy. The final step is to ask her for a dance. Then Dipper grinned as he imagined the perfect night with Wendy. Wendy and Dipper were on the dance floor, dancing to a slow song. "Oh, Dipper!" Wendy exclaimed as he dipped her. "I'm so happy you decided to work the ticket stand with me. You're so organized. Show me that checklist again." As Dipper pulled his long checklist from his pocket, Wendy swooned, and the fantasy dissolved. "If I follow steps 1 through 11, nothing can get in my way." "Dipper, you're the one getting in your own way," Mabel told him. "Why can't you just walk up and talk to her like a normal person?" "Step 9, sister," Dipper said triumphantly, pointing to his list. "Talk like a normal person." Mabel shook her head. Her brother was hopeless. The twins went downstairs. Dipper headed outside to the ticket booth, where lots of kids were lined up to enter the dance. Inside, Seuss was playing a tune, while a glittery disco ball spun from the ceiling, sending lights spinning around the room. Stan wore his best white disco suit, tapping his foot to the beat, and charging an exit fee for anyone who wanted to leave the party. Outside, Dipper fidgeted at the ticket table. He had put his plan into action. "Step 6, casual banter," he whispered to himself. He ducked under the table, looked at his checklist again, and he sat back up, turned to Wendy, and he said, So, here's a casual question. His voice cracked. "What's your favorite type of snack food?" "Oh, man, I just can't pick one," Wendy replied. No way, mine too," Dipper blurted. Wendy looked confused. "Wait, what?" "Oh, I mean, Dipper coughed nervously and ducked under the table. New topic, I need a new topic," he muttered to himself. Inside, Mabel scanned the party for some possible new friends. She saw 2 right away. One girl had forks taped to the fingers on her right hand. The other girl had a large lizard on her shoulder. Mabel approached them. "Wow, you got an animal on your body." "I'm Mabel." "Hi, I'm Grenda," the girl with the lizard said. "This is Candy." "Why do you have forks taped to your fingers?" Candy smiled and dipped her fork in the popcorn bowl on Grenda's lap. When she pulled it out, she had a piece of popcorn on each fork. "Improvement of the human being," she said, and Grenda laughed. Mabel grinned. "I found my people." From his DJ stand, Suze lowered the music. He started reading aloud from his book. "Remember, dudes, whoever party hardest gets the party crown. Most applause at the end of the night wins." He held up a beautiful jeweled crown, which glittered under the disco lights. The girls gasped. It was beautiful! Then a blonde girl marched up to Sue's DJ stand. "Party crown. I'll take that, thank you very much." "Who's that?" Mabel asked. "The most popular girl in town, Pacifica Northwest," Candy replied. "I always feel bad about myself when I'm around her," Grenda said. "Ugh, I can't just give you the crown," Suze told Pacifica. "It's sort of a competition thing." Pacifica sneered and took the mic. "Honestly, who's gonna compete against me?" she asked. She pointed at Candy and Grenda. "Fork girl, lizard lady." Ha! Pacifica's friends laughed. "Hold me, Candy," Grenda said. "Our kind isn't welcome here." Mabel got a determined look on her face. She marched up to Suze. "Hey, I'll compete," she said. Then she turned to Pacifica and smiled. "I'm Mabel." "That sounds like a fat old lady's name," said Pacifica. "I'll take that as a compliment," Mabel said, still smiling. Pacifica's eyes narrowed. "May the best partier win." "Nice meeting you," Mabel said, waving cheerfully as Pacifica slowly danced backwards. Then she lowered her voice. "She's going down." The crowd clapped and cheered as Mabel and Pacifica got ready to see who could party hardiest. The applause drifted outside to Dipper and Wendy. "Wow, sounds like the party's getting nuts," Wendy said. She stood up and looked through the window. "I've got to get in there. Can you cover for me?" Dipper stammered. This wasn't how his plan was supposed to go." "Thanks, man," Wendy said and darted inside. Soon she was dancing under the disco lights. Dipper couldn't stand it. He was supposed to be in there, dancing with Wendy, on the ticket table. He turned the open side of the sign to closed. "I'll be back shortly," he told the kids in the line. Then he felt something yank on his collar. "What are you doing, kid?" Grunkle Stan barked, holding Dipper 2 feet off the ground, his legs dangling. "These suckers aren't going to rip themselves off. You promised, remember?" Yeah. Stan dropped him and stomped away. Dipper looked longingly through the window at the party room, where Wendy was still dancing. "If only I could be in 2 places at once," he said. And the party flyers flapped in the breeze next to him. Then he remembered the copier machine. 2 places at once. That was it! He kept up the close sign and quickly snuck into the Mystery Shack's old storage room. He lifted the lid off the copier, climbed onto the glass, and pressed the button. "I wonder if this is a good idea," as the copier whirred, and an eerie green light glowed through the glass. The machine scanned his body, and when it finished, he jumped off to see a Dipper-sized piece of paper slide to the floor. It looked like a face-down image of Dipper. Then color creeped into the image. Then it came to life, rising off the floor. It turned to face Dipper, who gazed in awe at the copier clone. It was like looking in a 3D mirror. "Whoa, I have a really big head," said Dipper. Chapter 3. "So, both Dippers said at the same time. Then they both chuckled. "Sorry, you first." "Hey, stop copying me." Dipper and his clone laughed. The machine had made a copy that not only looked like Dipper, but thought just like him as well. So Dipper's clone was saying everything Dipper would say. Dipper took a black marker and wrote "Number 2" on the clone's hat. "I'll call you Number 2, Dipper said. "Definitely not. You know what name I've always wanted?" the clone asked. Of course Dipper knew. He and the clone had the same mind. "Tyrone!" Dipper and his clone said together. "Okay, Tyrone, let's get down to business," Dipper said, remembering why he copied himself in the first place. "I'm thinking you cover for me at the ticket stand while I ask Wendy to dance." "I know the plan, buddy." Dipper frowned. "Hey, we're not going to get jealous and turn on each other like the clones in the movies, are we?" "Dipper, please. This is you we're talking about," Tyrone said. "Plus, you can always disintegrate me with water." "Yeah." So Tyrone went outside to work the ticket stand, while Dipper strolled up to Wendy on the dance floor. "Great news, Wendy. I got someone to cover concessions for me." Wendy turned to him smiling. "That's awesome. You can hang out with me and Robbie. Robbie, you remember Dipper from the convenience store?" A tall teen face turned to them. His black hair hung over his eyes. He had an electric guitar strapped to his back. Behind him, a silver and red mountain bike leaned against the wall. No," Robbie said in a dull voice. Then he took the guitar from his case and played some licks on it. "Wendy, check out my cool guitar." Wendy's eyes lit up. "Whoa, cool!" Dipper gasped in horror. Robbie was not in the plan. He could only imagine what would happen next, and a jealousy fantasy flashed in his mind. Wendy and Robbie were on the dance floor dancing to a slow song. Robbie, you're a stupid, arrogant frog. But kiss me anyways, because you can play guitar. Oh wait, I forgot something, Wendy said. Wendy walked across the floor and punched Dipper right in the gut. Oof! She called out Robbie, let's get married tonight. Dipper's cell phone roused him from his crazy fantasy. It was Tyrone. Hey buddy, it's me. Well, you. I just had the same jealousy fantasy. We gotta get rid of Robbie if I ever want to dance with Wendy, Dipper said. Hey Dipper, we're gonna go sit on the couch, said Wendy. Meet us when you're done. She and Robbie walked off the dance floor. Dipper panicked. Oh no! They're sitting on the couch! We gotta think of something quick! He wailed into his phone. Then he noticed Robbie's bicycle. I got an idea. I got the same one, said Tyrone, looking through the window. But we're gonna need some help. A couple minutes later, they were both in the storage room, and a second clone popped out of the copier. And that's where you come in, number 3, Dipper said, after he explained the plan to the new clone. But what if Robbie catches me? Asked number 3. I'll be all alone. Okay, one more clone. This is a 4 Dipper plan. He hopped up on the copier again and pressed the button. And a puff of black smoke burst from the machine and it made a grinding noise. Uh-oh. Paper jam, Tyrone said, groaning into the feeder. The paper coming out had Dipper's image on it, but it was all crinkled. Tyrone laid it on the floor. The image came to life, but it looked like a crunched up version of Dipper. Paper Jam Dipper screeched, jumping into Tyrone's arms. You're not going to make me partner up with him, are you? Number 3 asked Tyrone. Shh, don't be rude, Tyrone whispered as Paper Jam Dipper screeched and tagged on his lower lip like a poorly behaved monkey. Dipper sighed. Okay, just one more clone. Back on the dance floor, Mabel and Pacifica were battling it out to see who could party the hardiest. Pacifica stood in the spotlight singing a pop song. The crowd clapped as she finished, on a glass-shattering high note. I used to sing like that, Grenda said, before my voice changed. Pacifica pulls ahead, Seuss announced. Pacifica handed Mabel the microphone. Try to top that, she said. Oh, and Grenda, by the way, you sound like a professional wrestler. Pacifica walked away laughing as Grenda balled her hand in a fist. I want to put her head in a headlock and make her feel pain, she growled. It's not over till it's over, sisters, Mabel promised Candy and Grenda. Watch this. Seuss, get me the 80th, crowd-pleasingest, rock-balladest song you've got. Seuss pressed some buttons, and the sound of a 1980s rock ballad flowed from the speakers. Mabel took to the stage and started to sing. Don't stop unbelieving. Never don't not your feelings. The crowd went crazy for the song. Mabel ended up with a body flip. Whoosh! And landed on her feet. That was for you guys, she yelled. Everyone whooped and cheered. Woo! Just then, Dipper ran up and whispered something in Seuss' ear. Seuss nodded and spoke into the microphone. Dudes, with the owner of a silver and red dirt bike, please report outside. It's being stolen right now. Wait, what? Robbie asked. He looked out the window to see the backs of 2 guys who were riding off with his bike. Little did he know they were 2 Dipper clones. Hey, come back here, Robbie yelled, running outside. Oh, tough break, Dipper told Wendy, laughing nervously. I wonder who those guys are. They aren't me because I'm right here. Now, we're going to bring it down for a minute. Seuss pressed some more buttons. Ladies, dudes, now is the time. A slow dance groove filled the room. Oh, snap! Love this song, Wendy told Dipper. Mabel ran up to her brother. Hey, Goofus, now's your chance to ask Wendy to dance. Come on, go, go, she said, giving him a little push. Dipper pulled his checklist from his pocket and studied it. Then he looked at Wendy, who was still sitting on the couch swaying to the music. All he had to do was speak up and ask her. He stammered, suddenly feeling sweaty. I'll be right back. He rushed out of the room, where he found Tyrone waiting for him. Oh, I agree. You can't just go and dance with her, Tyrone said. The dance floor is a minefield. A minefield, Tyrone! What if there's a glitch in the sound system, Tyrone asked. Stan might get in the way, Dipper said. Robbie might come back, added Tyrone. There's too many variables. He looked his clone in the eye. They were both thinking the same thing. We need help. Chapter 4. The copier whirred and whooshed and glowed with green light as Dipper made 5 more copies of himself. All 11 Dippers headed up to Dipper's room and immediately got to work on a new Wendy plan. Well, maybe not all 10 clones contributed to the plan. Paper Jam Dipper mostly drooled and made babbling noises. But they talked excitedly and wrote up new checklists of steps for Dipper to take. All right, Dippers, gather round. The real Dipper finally yelled, and 9 of his clones lined up neatly in front of him. Now's the time. You're all clear on what to do? They all nodded. Then they headed back downstairs to set their plan into action. First, number 10 set out to distract Seuss with a laser light. Hey, Seuss, look, a glowing dot, number 10 cried, pointing to the wall behind Seuss. Then he shone a green laser dot on the wall and moved it up and down. Oh, man, I'm so glad I turned my head, Seuss said. That dot does not disappoint. He tried to catch the moving green dot with his hands, as if it were a firefly. While Seuss's back was turned, number 10 slipped a special disc labeled Wendy Mix into the CD player. Number 5 put a colored cell over the light shining on the dance floor, casting a romantic pink glow everywhere. Number 7 pulled down the shades on the window, and number 8 dangled a dollar right in front of Stan on a fishing pole. Right, like I'm gonna fall for that, Stan said. Then he lunged at it anyways. Give me that money, he yelled, chasing it outside. A bell rang in Dipper's room, signaling the coast was clear. There's your cue, said Tyrone. It's the perfect moment to ask Wendy to dance. Good luck, me. I don't need luck. I have a plan, Dipper said confidently, patting the folded checklist in his pocket. He ran downstairs into the hallway, and then he screamed, Ah! Wendy was standing in the hall. She wasn't on the dance floor like she was supposed to be. Not like the plan. Oh, hey man, what's up? Well, what are you doing here? I mean, wouldn't you rather be on the dance floor in exactly 42 seconds? I'm just waiting in line for the bathroom, Wendy said. Dipper quickly turned his back to her and looked at his checklist. Okay, small talk, he muttered to himself, starting to sweat. So, hey, let's say everyone at this party gets stuck on a desert island. Who do you think the leader would be? Wendy asked him. It was a great question, and Dipper knew it, but he was too nervous to answer. I think I go with this lunatic, said Wendy, pointing down to the dance floor, where a short guy was doing intense karate moves to the music. Dipper laughed and hit his checklist. I'd probably go for Stretch over there. He pointed to a really tall, really skinny guy, because tall people can reach the coconuts. Wendy laughed. Speaking of tall, you want to see something? She took out her wallet and showed him a picture of 3 boys. She covered the last person in the photo with her finger. Those are my 3 brothers, and I'm... boop! She lifted up her finger to reveal a super tall, skinny girl with pigtails and braces who towered over the boys. It was Wendy. Ha! You are a freak! Dipper blurted out. Then he quickly clapped his hand over his mouth. But Wendy wasn't insulted. Yep, she nodded. You know, kids used to make fun of my birthmark before I started hiding it all the time. Birthmark? Wendy asked. No, it's nothing. Why did I say that? He muttered to himself. No way, dude. Now you have to show me. Show me. Show me. Taking a deep breath, Dipper took off his hat, lifted the hair from his forehead, and the birthmark looked exactly like the Big Dipper! Wendy cried out, amazed at the pattern of dots and lines that looked just like the constellation of stars in the sky. That's how you got your nickname? I thought your parents just hated you or something, she smiled. Hey, I guess we're both freaks. She handed Dipper a cup of soda and they clinked cups. Then the bathroom door opened and Pacifica stomped out. Wait here, Wendy asked Dipper. Of course, Dipper replied as Wendy ducked inside. Then Dipper heard footsteps behind him and turned to see Tyrone, leading most of the clones back into the hall. Hey, what are you doing here? Number 10 has been distracting Seuss for 15 minutes. He's going to get tired of that dot eventually. Never! Seuss yelled out from his DJ stand. You won't believe it, guys. I bumped into Wendy accidentally, and things are going great. That's nice, but not the plan. Do we have to remind you? The clones started reading from their many checklists at once. Stick to the plan. Don't take any risk. Oh man, you guys sound crazy. Look, maybe we don't need the plan anymore, you know. Maybe I could just go talk to her like a normal person. Number 9 gasped. What? Said number 8. You bite your tongue, yelled number 7. If you're going to stick to the plan, maybe you shouldn't be the Dipper to dance with Wendy, said number 5. The other clones nodded. 5. Number 5's on the ball. Guys, come on. We said we weren't going to turn on each other. I think we all knew we were lying, Tyrone said in a dark expression crossing his face. All the clones converged on Dipper, pinning him down, grabbing him by the legs. They dragged him down the hallway. Ah! Dipper screamed. Chapter 5. Dipper pushed as hard as he could against the door to the supply closet, but the clones had locked him in. He couldn't get the door to budge. No, wait, he yelled, panicked. I can't breathe in here. Yeah, you can, Tyrone said through the door. Plus, there's snacks and a coloring book in there for you. Dipper grunted, frustrated. Then he picked up a snack pack of cheese and crackers. Those other Dippers sure knew him well. Cut in the hall, Tyrone addressed the other clones. Okay, so now that the original Dipper, or Dipper Classic, is no longer fit for it, I nominate myself to dance with Wendy. I've been around the longest, so it should be me, right? I mean, logically, guys. Fair point, said number 10. Counterpoint, maybe I should get to dance with Wendy because I've been around her the least. That makes like 0 sense, said number 5. Number 10 turned to an angry, you make 0 sense, he yelled, shoving him. Number 5 shoved him back. Watch it. Don't shove people, said number 6. Blah! Added Jam Dipper. Tyrone strolled up to him, holding a snack pack. Hey, you want some cheese and crackers, buddy? Ah! Replied the crumbled up clone. Tyrone tried to fit a cracker into Paper Jam Dipper's mouth, but it fell on the floor. Yikes! Suddenly something dawned on Tyrone. Hey, guys, what would you do if you were trapped in a closet? Break out, the other clones answered. And then they all turned at once. The closet door was open. Dipper had escaped. Dipper ran downstairs as fast as he could. He reached the hall overlooking the dance floor. When? He cried, but Tyrone clapped a hand over his mouth. He pulled him away from the railing. Come on, man, give it up. You're overpowered. Hold on, guys, think about it. We're exact equals, mentally and physically. If we start fighting, it'll go on for infinity. Tyrone nodded. It's true when you think about it. The clones began to chatter. What Dipper said made sense. Maybe we should just give up, said number 9. Then Dipper punched Tyrone in the jaw. Clone fight, yelled number 9. The clones turned on each other, punching and kicking. Number 5 slapped Dipper's face again and again. Hey, quit Quit hitting yourself! Quit hitting yourself! Taunted number 5. Then number 6 came flying out of nowhere and tackled him. Clones fought left and right, slapping each other in the stomachs, twisting each other's arms. Dipper took advantage of the chaos and slowly walked off. Number 10 saw him. Hey, Classic Dipper's getting away! But Dipper had a plan. He taped a number 7 to his hat. No, friends, it's just me, number 7, he said, pointing to his hat. That's not me, guys, that's not me, said number 7. Just then, the 7 fell off Dipper's hat. Get him! Yelled number 9. Stay back! Stay back! Dipper said warningly as he pulled the only weapon he had out of his pocket. A party popper. Poof! He pulled the tab and confetti streamed from the popper, which was pretty lame, except for the smoke from the popper, which wafted up to the fire sprinklers on the ceiling. Water rained down on the clones, melting them. Huh, how about that? Dipper muttered as the sprinkler shut off. Then he heard a familiar voice behind him. Tyrone pointed at him accusingly. You! Uh-oh, Dipper said. Chapter 6. Back on the dance floor, the contest to see who could party the hardiest was in full swing. Mabel did the worm, while the crowd that had gathered around her cheered and clapped. One more song, dudes, Seuss announced, and there's time for the bestowing of the party crown. It's gonna be the... He pressed a button, and the sound of a explosion. Seuss smiled. Nailed it. Mabel walked up to Pacifica. Pacifica, I just want to say that whoever wins, it's been a super fun party. She held out her hand. Pacifica did not shake her hand. It thinks it's gonna win, she said meanly. Then she cupped her hand around her ear. Hey, did you hear that? People clapping for the weird girl. Yeah, me neither. She walked away, but Mabel didn't lose her smile. She was having fun, and Pacifica wasn't gonna ruin it. Upstairs, Tyrone had Dipper in a headlock. Say it! Say I can dance with Wendy, said Tyrone. Never! Dipper grunted, breaking free and putting a headlock on Tyrone instead. But both boys froze when they heard Wendy's laugh floating up from the dance floor. Wendy? They asked at once. Both moved to the railing to investigate. Robbie had returned. He and Wendy were tucked in a corner, talking and laughing. Dipper and Tyrone sighed. We blew it, man, they said together. They sank to the floor in defeat. I don't know. Do you want to go grab a couple of sodas or something? Tyrone asked. As the two boys headed downstairs, Seuss was riling up the crowd on the dance floor. He stood on the stage, flanked by Mabel and Pacifica. Let the party crown voting commence, he announced. Good luck, Mabel, Pacifica said, sneering around Seuss's belly. Then her eyes narrowed. She clearly didn't mean it. Applaud to vote for Mabel, Seuss yelled. Lots of people applauded, including Stan and Mabel's friends, Candy and Brenda. Yeah, go Mabel! Let's check the applause-o-meter, Seuss said, raising his right arm like it was the arm on a real applause measuring machine. His arm stopped straight up in the air. Pretty good. Mabel grinned. And your next contestant, Pacifica, Seuss announced. At first, only Pacifica's friends clapped. Then Pacifica glared at the other kids. And they nervously started applauding too. Seuss's left arm went up and up. It stopped straight in the air, even with his right arm. Uh-oh, a tie. This has never happened before, Seuss said. Pacifica frowned. She wasn't used to losing or tying, just winning. But she got an idea. She marched over to Old Man McGucket, who was dozing on some folding chairs. She dangled a doll in front of his face. Sniffing the air, he woke up, he grabbed it. Then he clapped with glee. Ha 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 ha! Sue's left arm started to move. The applause put Pacifica over the top. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner, Sue said sadly. The winner of the contest is Pacifica Northwest. Sue put the crown on her head. Thank you, everyone, she said, beaming to the crowd. Everyone, come to the after party at my parents' house and my parents' boathouse. Woo! A bunch of kids in the crowd picked up Pacifica. They streamed out of the mystery shack chanting, Pacifica! 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 Mabel looked kind of sad. Sorry I let you guys down, she told Candy and Grenda, who stayed behind. I understand if you want to leave. But then we'd miss the sleepover, Candy said with a grin. Mabel was puzzled. The what? We want to call our moms and have a sleepover here with you. You're like a total rock star. Candy took the latest issue of Cool Dudes out of her backpack. I have magazine, boys. Mabel's face lit up. Really, you guys? Maybe we don't have as many friends as Pacifica, but we have each other. And that's pretty good, I think. Seuss, Mabel called out. Play another song. We're going to dance all night. Way ahead of you, Hambones, Seuss replied, sliding another record onto the turntable. The music started, and Mabel and her new friends started to dance. Dipper and his clone, they didn't feel like dancing. They sat on the roof, gazing at the stars. They each popped a can of Pic Cola. You think we ever had a chance with Wendy? Dipper asked Tyrone. I mean, she's 15, we're 12. I don't know, man. I hope so. But we're making zero progress the way we're doing it. The only good conversation you had with her was when you didn't do any of that list stuff. Dipper nodded. I know. Mabel was right. I do get in my own way. Literally, they said in unison. The two boys clinked soda cans. They each took a sip. Then a look of horror came over Tyrone's face. Oh boy, don't look now, he said, gazing down at his stomach. It was slowly beginning to ripple. The soda was dissolving him from the inside. Tyrone! Cried Dipper. It's okay, dude. I had a good run, Tyrone said as he melted. Remember what we talked about? Of course, said Dipper. Tyrone's body was just a puddle. Only his head remained. Hey, quit being such a wimp around Wendy, he said as he started to dissolve. For my sake. And with that, Tyrone was no more. Dipper fell to his knees. Tyrone, you are the only one who understood me. With a sigh, Dipper climbed down from the roof. He looked through the window into the mystery shack. Mabel and the girls were dancing. Wendy stood against the wall, nodding her head to the music. Dipper took out his checklist. If he followed the plan, maybe he could... Rip! He tore the list in half. He stepped inside the shack. From now on, no more plans for trying to impress Wendy. It would just be Dipper, the original Dipper, being himself.